Hello and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning visitor or subscriber, thank you for coming back. So today I'm going to cover a full wash day routine, and that will be everything from braiding and banding to how I shampoo to taking down the braiding and banding. So if you'd like to know more, please stay tuned. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Love Those Locks, the channel where I'll help you care for your hair, especially for the lady of a certain age, and where I'll be charting my second Sisterlocks journey. So as promised, I'm going to start with braiding and banding. What I meant to mention was I'm going to show braiding and banding with longer hair, and then I'm going to show braiding and banding with shorter hair. I have shorter hair at the back, and you may remember that originally I had an undercut, so this hair was shaved, and so I've got a bit of a taper going on. So I'm going to show you the two types of braiding and banding, and then we'll progress from there. So let's get started. So first of all, what I do is just grab a little bit of hair. I've had these Sisterlocks for 19 months, so they have started to expand a bit. But if your Sisterlocks are new, then you can probably get more Sisterlocks into the 3 sections, so I'm going to have about 4 in each. And with braiding and banding, always think that rather than have them tight, just do them loosely, because what you want is for the shampoo to be able to go through them and not to have to rinse more than you need to. So just braid and band as you would a plait or a braid. But as you can see, I'll just squeeze it so you can see it isn't a stiff braid. It's quite sort of fat, but it's quite loose. And then once you get to the end, just fold it over, and then get yourself some little elastic bands, and then just wrap those around the end. If you can, I mean, these are elastic bands that I've had for a while. If you can get another colour, that's even better, because then they'll show up on your hair when you come to take them down. But I only have black ones, so that's what I'm using. So just wrap it around a couple of times. There's no need to go crazy, because your hair might expand slightly once it's wet, and then getting them out can be a real task. So that's one braid done, and as you can see, it is quite loose. So let's now move to a shorter one at the back. So before we do that, I'm just going to tie up some hair so that that's not in the way. Because of course it's easier to plait it or braid it when the hair is shorter, but when it's longer, but when it's shorter, it can be a little bit more challenging. And it may well be that for the shortest Sisterlocks, that you just have fewer Sisterlocks in there. So again, you just take, a few Sisterlocks, make them into a loose plait. How many times you can actually plait will depend on the length of your short Sisterlocks. And then that's it, and very quickly you'll be at the end if they're short. And then again, you can see that's quite a loose one, a loose fat one. And then if you want to make sure that you don't leave any Sisterlocks behind, you can see here I've got a very short one. What I then do is I tuck that in, so that at least it's hooked in and not left behind, so that at least it's sort of hooked into the braid and band in some way. So if you're able to do that, that would be good, and it just means that you can reduce the slippage. So here we have one. Fold over the bottom if you can, possibly, and then just grab hold of an elastic band and then just wrap it round. So that's 1, 2, and these are quite small, so I'll do another one. So that was 3 wraparounds, and there we go. So that's a braid and band on a shorter bunch of Sisterlocks with the very short one tucked in. Hope you can see that. That was just tucked in there just to make sure. So this just, as you know, braiding and banding just helps to prevent slippage. You know, you may have a bit of slippage, but if you braid and band for as long as your consultant tells you that you should, then certainly do that. I no longer braid and band, but I just thought I'd do a full wash day cycle showing braiding and banding. So those are a couple of them, and we're going to move to the next step after I've finished.
Get to build up and raise the external temperatures.
Try again in SpaceX. We showed 2 minutes until predicted calm blackout. We will see you on the other side at 1842.
So here it is, all braided and banded, and as you can see, they are all loose, and they're not tight at the roots either, because you particularly want to be able to get to the roots when washing, as you'll see in the next stage. So here we are in the bathroom. Now I'm going to start shampooing. So it's all braided and banded, as you can see, all the way around, and it's ready to be shampooed. So here is my spray bottle, and in here I have a little bit of shampoo, which I mixed in off camera, and I don't know if you can see it, but the mark is up to about here, topped up, so about that much shampoo, and then the rest of it's water. And then just give it a good shake, and then it's ready. Now let me show you, just to explain the reason why I do this. It makes it thinner, and it just means that then when you spray it, it's much more liquid and it's easier to work its way in, because otherwise if you use thick gluggy shampoo, then you're just going to have all this slimy feel on your Sisterlocks, and it's just a lot more difficult, I found, to work through and then to rinse out. So having this more liquid mixture means that it's easier to work with and work through. The only downside to it is it does roll down your eyes, so you've just got to be a bit more careful about that. Right, so let's get with the spraying. So what you do is just direction it at the scalp. I'll just show you a section here. And then once you've done that all over, then get working. And when you've got very new Sisterlocks, as you can see, it's rolling down a bit, but when you've got very new Sisterlocks, you just want to make sure that you don't disturb them too much, I found, and just work in there, because the scalp is where a lot of the odour will come from. And in fact, in rinsing through your Sisterlocks towards the end, you will then actually rinse the shampoo down the length of the Sisterlocks. So as you can see, that lathers up nicely, and then you can get to work with just working it through your scalp all over, and then just working it around those roots and where you've got loose hair in the start of the Sisterlocks, and just work it through all the way around. So spray the scalp all over, which is what I'm now going to do. Okay, so now it's all covered all over, and I'm going to rinse. So as you're rinsing, just squeeze, don't pull, but just squeeze while you're rinsing them out, just to make sure all of the shampoo comes out, and that you're working the shampoo all the way down to the tips. That's it. And do that for all of the braided sections. So and wrap with a black towel to prevent fluff and lint from embedding themselves in the Sisterlocks. So as you can see, I've already undone some of the braiding and banding. That's two sets of braiding and banding. So I'm now going to show you how I do that. So as I mentioned earlier, once you wash your Sisterlocks, they do expand a bit, and that's why it's really important not to tie the elastic band too tightly, because otherwise it's going to be quite difficult to get it. And I've got a bit of a horror story with this, where I got in a bit of a pickle with it, and I was running late and was desperately washing my hair really quickly, and then fighting with the Sisterlocks to get them undone, and I had a big knot, and I actually went out and I was running down the high street with a big knot at the front of my Sisterlocks, where the braiding and banding, just the undoing, I tried to do it too quickly and it wasn't a big mess. So give yourself a bit of time and just be patient, trying to find that elastic. So there, and then just unwinding it gradually, and then pulling apart your Sisterlocks, because also if you have thin ends like me, they will tend to grab hold of each other more readily. So you just want to get the elastic band off and then just gently prise it apart. I do it while it's still wet, because when it's dry it's a lot more difficult. So that's just my experience of taking down the braiding and banding. So as you can see, as it's still damp, it just falls apart. Then they'll have a bit of a curl to them, and that's the way to do it. I'm going to do the rest off camera, and join me for the next section. So here it is, all of the braiding and banding undone, and it's looking a bit fluffy because it's a bit curly because it's just been undone, and it's a little bit damp. And after this I would just leave it to air dry, but you can wrap it in a towel or whichever way you prefer, but I find air drying is a great way, so I'll just give you a quick 360 so that you can see what it looks like all the way around. Haven't missed any out, they're all undone, and yeah, that's it. A full wash day and braiding and banding takedown. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Now over to you. Perhaps you've got other ideas or would like to share how you wash, braid and band, take down your braiding and banding. Let me know in the comments. Please like, share and subscribe, please. And remember to hit that bell. I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye. Start. So now for taking down the braiding